The desert was quiet. Winds moved across the sand like waves. The sun was hot. Everything looked the same, dry, old, forgotten. But Roland kept walking. He was 17, a desert scavenger. No parents, no friends, just a small hoverbike and a metal detector. He searched for old tech, broken machines, rusted parts, anything he could sell for food. But today felt strange. As he walked through the dunes, his scanner beeped, slow at first, then faster. Beep, 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 beep. Roland stopped. His eyes narrowed. "That's not junk," he whispered. He grabbed his shovel and started digging. The sand was thick, heavy, but something was under it. Big, smooth, cold. After 10 minutes, a corner appeared. It wasn't rock. It wasn't metal like he'd seen before. It was dark gray, almost black, and curved like the side of a ship. He dug more and more. Then the storm came. The wind howled. Sand flew into the sky. But Roland didn't stop. He covered his face and kept digging. The storm did the rest. The sand exploded around him, revealing something huge. A ship, half buried, ancient, silent. It had no flag, no name, no lights, just silence and dust. Roland stepped closer, heart pounding. He reached out and touched the metal. Suddenly, a light blinked. Then another. The side of the ship glowed blue, and a voice spoke. Genetic match confirmed. "Welcome back, Admiral. Valor is ready to serve." Roland fell backward in shock. "What the Admiral?" he said, breathing fast. The ship's voice spoke again, calm and deep. 500 years in stasis. Systems restored. "Orders, sir." He looked around. No one else was there. Just him and this machine. "I'm not an admiral," he said out loud. "DNA confirms match. Rank, Admiral Kale. Access granted." Roland didn't know what to say. His name was Roland, not Kale. He had never even left the planet. Never joined any army. "Is this a trick?" he whispered. But the ship's side opened. A doorway appeared, blue light shining from within. Inside, everything looked clean, alive, like the ship was waiting just for him. He stepped in. The door closed behind him. Inside the ship, soft lights turned on as he walked. The hallway was wide, smooth, quiet. No dust inside. No broken parts. He touched the walls. Warm, not cold like metal. The ship felt alive. "Where am I?" he asked. The voice answered. "Flagship Valor. Last command. Hide from enemy forces. Last entry. Year 2729. Time since entry. 500 years." Roland blinked. 500 years. Affirmative. "War protocol complete. Awaiting your return." He entered the control room. A large window showed the desert outside. Floating screens showed old maps, stars, planets, all from a time long gone. In the center was a chair. A command seat. "Please sit, Admiral." Roland hesitated, then slowly sat down. The screens lit up brighter. A soft hum filled the room. "Memory systems activating. Shall I show you your last battle?" Roland nodded slowly. A hologram appeared. Space. War. Fire. Ships flying. Explosions. Humans fighting aliens in black armor. Then the hologram showed one man at the center, tall, dark uniform, strong voice. "I am Admiral Kale. If Earth falls today, let this ship be our last hope. Clone me if needed. I will return." Roland gasped. The man in the hologram looked like him. Exactly like him. Same face. Same eyes. Same voice. "Is this real?" he asked. "Confirmed. You are genetic backup of Admiral Kale. Created to continue his mission." His heart raced. He wasn't just a scavenger. He was something else. Something important. But how? Why now? Suddenly, another beep. Loud. Sharp. Warning. Beacon activated. Long-range signal sent. Roland stood. "I didn't send anything." Auto-triggered on identity match. Enemies may have received signal. Far across the galaxy, something woke up. Alien ships turned. Red lights flashed. One old commander growled. "The ghost Admiral has returned." The desert night was quiet again. Outside, the world had gone still. But inside the ship, time had come alive. Roland stood in the middle of the glowing control room, the blue lights moving across his face. He didn't feel like himself anymore. The name, Roland, sounded small, too small. He stared at the floating image of a man who looked just like him. The ship called him that again. "You have returned. Memory core is now unlocked." Roland stepped closer to the main console. "Why do I look like him?" he asked. "You were created from him." "What do you mean created?" Roland whispered. The ship's voice didn't change. It was calm, confident, like it had waited years to speak again. Cloning protocol was activated during Earth's final war. You are Kale's genetic backup. Trained by memory, not time. But I've never been trained, Roland said. I've never even left the desert. That will change. The floor beneath him shifted. Slowly, a chair rose from the metal. Screens unfolded. Lights moved like veins across the ship's walls. Would you like to see what the ship remembers? Roland nodded. He saw a bright city floating in space, New Earth Prime. He saw thousands of ships flying through a purple sky, full of life and technology. Humans were once powerful. But then, the sky turned red. Dark enemy ships appeared, strange and silent. No warnings. No talks. They just attacked. And they kept winning. Roland saw Admiral Kale standing in a giant war room. Soldiers saluted. People cheered him. He looked calm, but tired. Behind him, the words glowed. Kale led the last human defense, the ship explained. He saved Earth. But Earth did not save him. Roland watched Kale give one final order. Hide the Valor. Clone me. If they return, so will I. Then, blackness. No more cities. No more humans. Only silence. Only the ship. Roland looked away from the screen. His chest was tight. He wasn't just some desert kid anymore. This ship, this AI, this war, all of it was waiting for him. Why now, he asked. Because the beacon was activated. Roland's eyes narrowed. And they heard it? Most likely. The screen showed a map of the galaxy. Far away, a red dot flashed. Then another. And another. Alien ships were waking. In the dark of deep space, a cold voice spoke. The old signal. From Earth. A tall alien with glowing red eyes turned toward the stars. Prepare the fleet. The ghost Admiral has returned. Roland stood up, breathing fast. This is too much, he said. I don't know how to fight a war. I don't even know how to fly. You don't have to, the ship replied. I will guide you. A small drone floated near him. It blinked and scanned his face. Would you like to learn your own memories? My memories? He asked. Not yours. Kale's. Roland hesitated. Will it change me? No. But it will awaken the part of you that's already inside. The drone floated closer. Begin, Roland whispered. Images flooded his mind. Explosions. Training. Commands. Emotions he never felt before. Plans, tactics, ship names. Strategy. Power. He saw Kale's last battle from inside his head. He felt Kale's anger. His fear. His love for Earth. His pain. Then it stopped. Roland fell to his knees, gasping. His voice had changed. Deeper, stronger. I remember, he whispered. At least some of it. More will return, Valor said. Roland stood slowly. Then we better get ready, he said. The ship lit up room by room. Weapons clicked online. The engines hummed with energy. And far, far away, something dark was coming. But this time, Earth was not alone. The Admiral had returned. Absolutely. Here's a unique, suspense-filled start for your HFY story part 3. The Signal That Woke the Stars, written in third person, with basic English, cinematic style, and designed to keep the audience hooked. Word count, 850 words. Somewhere in deep space, a dark moon floated in silence. No suns, no sound, just cold rocks and forgotten metal. Then suddenly, a small red light began to pulse from under the black dust of a dead station. It had not blinked in 500 years. Until now. Across the galaxy, ships turned. Machines lit up. Creatures who had been sleeping opened their eyes. In the heart of a shadow empire, a warlord stood from his throne of bone and steel. His red eyes locked onto the blinking signal. Earth's flame still burns, he growled. His voice echoed through his ship like thunder. Then let's crush it, for good this time. Roland sat inside the ship, still breathing heavy from the memory upload. The AI, Valor, was silent for a moment, almost like it was thinking. Signal strength rising. Long-range communication confirmed. Estimated response. Enemy fleets now aware. Roland looked at the glowing star map. A red pulse moved out from Earth like a wave. Dots began to appear in the outer galaxy. Enemy fleets. Ancient threats. Moving fast. We woke them up, Roland whispered. We did not wake them. You did. Thanks for the comfort, Roland muttered. He stood and looked out the front window. The desert stretched wide under the stars. It still looked calm. Empty. But something was coming. Valor spoke again. Admiral, Would you like to know what this signal truly is? Roland turned. It's more than a beacon? Yes, it is a call, a challenge, and a message. To who? To the ones who ended Earth's golden age. The ones who feared Admiral Kale. The ones who never believed he'd return. Suddenly, a sharp alarm filled the room. Roland's heart jumped. How fast? 2 minutes. Origin, unknown. Stealth class. They were already on Earth. What? Outside, in the dark desert, small shapes moved through the sand. They had no faces, only armor. Black, sharp, silent. One of them looked up at the half-buried ship. The signal came from here. It said in a voice like broken metal. Scan for the human. The others spread out. Inside, Valor spoke fast. They are early scouts, not ready for full combat, but armed. Do you wish to engage? Roland's hands shook. He looked at the control panel. Could he really fight? He took a breath. Open defense grid. Affirmative. The ship's body pulsed. Lights glowed. Small weapons extended from the sides like wings. Outside, the scouts stopped. It's active, one said. It shouldn't be alive. One raised a weapon. The ship responded instantly. Boom. One scout exploded in blue fire. The rest ran, firing. But the ship moved faster. Boom. 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 Sand flew into the air. Then silence. Roland stared at the screen. His first battle. He hadn't fired the weapons himself. The ship had done it. But still, he felt the weight of it. He had been seen. And now the galaxy would know. What do I do now? He asked quietly. Prepare. They will not send scouts next time. They will send armies. On a massive warship floating in a red nebula, a tall creature with gray skin stood in front of a screen. The signal pulsed before him. Admiral Kale's signature, the officer said. The tall one's mouth curled into a cold smile. He lives again. So the game begins again. He raised his clawed hand. Send the message. Earth is to be destroyed, this time, without survivors. Roland sat down in the Admiral's chair. He felt something inside himself change, a fire he didn't know he had. He wasn't ready, but he didn't have a choice. The stars were waking. The war wasn't over. It was only beginning. Long ago, before Earth fell. Before Admiral Kale vanished. Before the sky turned red with fire. There were vaults, hidden by the old admirals, buried deep under Earth's skin, not to protect the world, but to protect the galaxy from it. Roland stood in front of a glowing control panel. The ship hummed quietly around him. The map on the screen zoomed in, focusing on an empty mountain range west of the desert. A red mark pulsed under the surface. What is that? He asked. Class X weapon vault, Valor replied. Locked 500 years ago by your former self. Now unlocked by you. Roland stared at the blinking light. His heart beat faster. We buried weapons. We buried power, the AI said. Weapons too dangerous to use. Too advanced for your time. But now you may need them. Roland looked out the window. The desert was still, but he knew eyes were watching. Somewhere in the stars, enemy ships were moving. Coming. Then let's go, he said. The ship landed quietly in the rocks. The entrance to the vault was invisible to normal eyes. But Valor's scanners found it. It was hidden behind a cliff, sealed tight with alien-proof tech and a code no one alive could break. Except one person. DNA match confirmed. Admiral Kale recognized. The cliff shook. Then, slowly, the mountain opened. Lights flickered on. Dust danced in the air, untouched for 500 years. Roland walked slowly, his boots echoing across the smooth black floor. Rows of strange machines stood silent. Long rifles. Spheres that floated. Armored suits unlike anything he had ever seen. And in the center, a dark glass chamber with a long, curved object inside. It looked like a sword, but it hummed softly, like it was breathing. Roland stepped closer. That is the blade of resonance, Valor said. Built from star matter. Controlled by thought. Only the Admiral could hold it. Roland reached forward. The moment his fingers touched the glass opened on its own. The blade floated into the air and landed softly in his hand. No weight. No sound. Just power. He didn't even swing it. But the walls around him glowed with energy as if they knew. The blade had awakened. These are not just weapons, Valor said. They are keys. Tools. Symbols of fear for your enemies. And hope for your people. Roland looked around. All of this had been forgotten. But not lost. And now it was his. Far above Earth, on a small stealth ship, an alien scout watched from orbit. He zoomed in on the mountain vault. He saw Rollin step out holding the blade. He froze. Impossible, he whispered. Another scout leaned in. That weapon was destroyed in the old war. No, the first said. It was hidden, and now it's back. He sent the recording to the war fleet. The response came quickly. Send assassins. He must die before he learns the rest. Rollin loaded the new weapons into the ship. The suit adjusted to his body. The rifle clicked softly in his hand, and the blade stayed at his side, glowing blue, waiting. What now, he asked. Now, Valor said. We prepare for war. The next battle won't be on Earth. It will be in space. Rollin nodded. But before they could launch, the ship's lights flashed red. Incoming hostiles. 3 enemy dropships. Fast. Silent. Armed. Rollin's grip tightened. They found us already? They never stopped watching. As the enemy ships dropped through the clouds like black arrows, Rollin stood at the top of the mountain vault. Wind blew around him. The old sword hummed in his hand. He didn't run. Not this time. Let them come, he said. And behind him, Earth's most dangerous weapons began to wake up. Before the gunfire. Before the sky turned red. Before the blades clashed and the air smelled of smoke. There was silence. A long, deep silence. Like the earth was holding its breath. Waiting. Rollin stood on the mountain ledge, the sword humming quietly at his side. Below him, the desert stretched wide. Above him, the sky changed. 3 dark ships broke through the clouds like falling knives. They made no sound. No fire. Just shadow. But Valor saw them. Enemy units confirmed. Silent-class warships. Designed to kill without warning. Rollin didn't move. He watched the ships descend like monsters with wings. Inside the ship, Valor's voice grew sharp. Engage defense systems? Rollin shook his head. No, not yet. Admiral, they are armed. I know, he said, but I want to see them first. Kale, the real Admiral Kale, stood just like this once. Sword at his side. Enemies falling from the sky. One of his soldiers had asked, Sir, should we run? Kale had smiled and replied, We don't run. We write history. The first enemy ship landed on the cliff below. Metal claws dug into the stone. The door opened with a hiss. 4 alien assassins stepped out, tall, armored in black, moving like shadows. Their eyes glowed red. No faces. No emotions. They looked up and saw him. Rollin. One of them spoke, voice like broken ice. The clone. Another hissed. You were his face. But you are not him. Rollin raised his sword. I don't need to be him, he said. I'm enough. The assassins moved fast. One shot forward like lightning, blade raised. Rollin didn't dodge. He stepped in, smooth, like his body remembered before his mind did, and the blue sword met the enemy's. The alien blade shattered. The assassin froze, then fell. The other circled him. His body carries Kale's reflexes, one whispered. Then we kill the body before the memories return, said another. Systems lit up. Threat level rising. Admiral, I advise activating the ship's ground defenses. Rollin didn't answer. He was already moving. His body wasn't scared. It was alive. The second assassin fired a plasma shot. Fast, deadly. Rollin didn't see it. And the sword moved on its own. The beam split in 2 and vanished in smoke. Rollin's eyes widened. This sword, he whispered. It's thinking with me. They moved together, one from the front, one from behind. Rollin closed his eyes. He let his body move. Spinning, striking, sliding. Both attackers dropped within seconds. He stood alone, breathing fast, but not afraid. Battle complete, Valor confirmed. You did not command me to help. I wanted to know if I could do it, Rollin said. From the sky, more dropships. 10, maybe more, each bigger than the last. This is no longer an assassination, Valor said. It's an invasion. Rollin ran back inside the ship. Alarms blared. Red lights blinked. Enemy signals multiplied on the screen. Rollin stood in front of the command panel. What are your orders, Admiral? He stared at the blinking dots on the screen. Each one a threat. Each one coming for him. He looked down at his hands. They were still shaking. But not from fear. From memory. Valor, he said. Let's show them Earth isn't sleeping anymore. Understood. The mountain shook as the ground defenses rose. Cannons, drones, energy shields, all hidden for centuries. Now awakened. The enemy ships began to fall, one by one. Boom, boom, boom. Fire lit the sky, but they kept coming. And Rollin stood in the middle of it. Smoke filled the desert sky. Rollin stood beside the ship, his sword glowing blue in the dark. Around him, fire burned. Enemy ships crashed. But the war was just beginning. He looked to the stars. "I know you're watching," he said. "So come down. Come all the way. I'll be waiting." The desert winds howled like wolves in the night. But this time, they were not alone. A deep hum echoed through the sand dunes. It wasn't from the ship. It wasn't from Earth. It was something else. Something watching. Cade stood at the top of the canyon, his hand on the ship's metal side. The old warship, Orion, was fully awake now. And so was Cade. He wasn't just a scavenger anymore. He was wearing the Admiral's suit. The armor had changed, responding to his DNA. His body moved faster. His eyes saw farther. His thoughts clearer than ever before. But something felt wrong. Orion's voice cut through the silence. "Admiral, multiple heat signatures rising. 3 kilometers west. Unknown life forms. Not human. Not friendly." Cade's jaw tightened. "Show me." A hologram appeared. The sand in that direction was shaking, pulsing like something was crawling under it. Big things. Fast. Then Orion said the words that made Cade's blood run cold. "Admiral, they're waking up, the original enemy. 500 years ago, Earth fought a war against a terrifying alien force, the Zarin. The humans had won, or so they thought. But now, because Orion was awake, the signal had been sent again. A signal the Zarin had been programmed to follow. You turning back on, it triggered their hibernation pods," Orion whispered. Cade turned to the alien girl beside him, Naira. She wasn't human, but she had been helping him since the beginning. She looked pale, scared. They're not supposed to be here. My kind sealed them away before Earth fell," she said, her voice trembling. Cade narrowed his eyes. "Then why are they moving now?" "Because you're not just anyone," Orion replied. "You are the Admiral. You activated the ship. That key. Your bloodline. It was the final lock." Suddenly, the ground behind them exploded. A huge creature, black like oil and shaped like a nightmare, tore through the sand. Its eyes were red. Its body had long arms with blades instead of hands. Cade jumped back and raised his hand. Orion shields. A dome of light surrounded him and Naira just in time. The beast slammed against the shield with a screech that shook the sky. Naira shouted, "There's more coming." Dozens more heat signatures appeared on Orion's sensors. The Zarin were fully awake. Cade looked down at his hands. 5 days ago, he was just a desert scavenger. Now he was the key to an ancient war, being replayed on Earth's dead soil. He couldn't run. He wouldn't run. "Orion, how many weapon systems are online?" "Partial. Enough to defend. Not enough to escape orbit." Cade clenched his teeth. "Then we fight." Naira looked at him. "You'll die?" He looked back, calm. "Maybe. But if I don't, everyone else will." The ship rose slightly from the canyon, light glowing from its belly. The turrets slowly turned. The ground beneath them shook again. Hundreds of Zarin now rushing through the desert like black fire. The battle had begun. The battle had begun. But this time, Earth didn't have an army. It had a man, and one ship that remembered him. A wide view of the desert. Zarin crawling like ants toward the rising ship. Cade inside the command chair, eyes glowing with the suit's light. The last words of the part. "Orion, let's show them that Earth still remembers how to fight." The sun was rising over the desert, casting gold on the sand. The old ship stood tall, no longer broken. It had grown wings again. Derek stood at the top of the ship's ramp. His uniform was not made of metal or cloth. It was made of memories. The ship had recreated his old Admiral coat, just as it remembered. Aliens filled the horizon. Hundreds of scout ships were forming a battle line above the sky. But inside Derek's ship, the lights were bright, systems alive, and weapons powered. "Admiral." The ship spoke softly. "Enemy fleet within firing range." Derek's eyes stared at the enemy. But his heart was still thinking about the past. Once, 500 years ago, he had saved Earth with this ship. Once, he had stood here, this very place, when the stars burned with war. And now, the stars were calling again. "Give them one warning," Derek said. "Tell them, the Admiral has returned. Let's see who still remembers." The ship sent the message. Silence. Then one of the enemy ships paused. Another slowed down. Then all of them stopped. A strange message came back, one that shocked even Derek. If it is truly the Admiral of the sky, we will not fire. We were told stories about you. You ended wars. You spared enemies. You were not just a warrior. You were hope. Derek didn't speak. He didn't smile. He simply stood there, letting the silence answer. One alien ship broke formation. It turned away and left the planet's orbit. Then another. And then another. Within minutes, the sky was clear. They didn't fight him. They remembered him. But one ship remained. It was bigger, older, a war-class destroyer. It sent a final message. We do not fear the Admiral. We challenge him. One-on-one. Winner takes the planet. Derek stepped forward. He looked at the ship's AI. Prepare the main cannon. The old ship hesitated. It may not survive the recoil, Admiral. I know, Derek whispered. But neither will he. The enemy warship fired first. A red beam tore across the desert sky. But the Admiral's ship dodged, faster than anyone thought it could. It spun like it was young again. The desert sand exploded beneath it as thrusters roared. Fire. The Admiral's voice was quiet, but powerful. The cannon lit up. The beam was blue, like Earth's oceans. It struck the war-class ship right through its center. Silence. Then fire. The alien ship exploded in the sky. A blue ring spread in the atmosphere, like a second sunrise. The world below watched. Derek sat back in the command chair. The AI spoke one last time. Damage critical. Reactor core unstable. Shall I begin landing procedure? No, Derek whispered. Let's go higher. The ship knew. It understood. The engines burned hot. The ship rose into the stars, just like the old days. Earth satellites picked up a final message from the ship. The Admiral has served. The sky remembers him. Goodbye. A bright light flashed in orbit. Then nothing. But far below, in the desert, where it all began, a new plant grew from the sand. Its petals were blue, just like the ship's last beam. People came from cities to see the place. They built a monument there. It said, he returned when no one else would. He fought when no one else could. The sky remembered. And now, so will we.